You did say that. That's the first thing you said. Yeah. Oh, nothing at all. Of course, I was expecting a 31-0 shutout against the Raiders. Performing the Eagles, performing exactly how they should have, getting some swagger back, absolutely looking scrum diddly dumptious, and what's it called? Going through it. The Chiefs going through some tragedies, But hey, listen, Minshew Mania. We just came back. John Cena's last match, and I guess listen, the gods are talking because Minshew Mania is back for the remainder of the season. It seems like, oh my God, it's a whole lot of things unlocked in this episode, Scotty.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting to that time of the year where you got other sports too, like hockey, basketball. Everything's going right now. We're approaching Christmas. We're approaching New Year's. This is one of my favorite times of the year. Just overall, there's just so much going on. So I guess we should start things off by talking about the Broncos and the Packers. In this game, the Broncos did manage to win 34-26, and it was a pretty odd game in at least the first three quarters, I would say. This was a very heavily anticipated matchup between these two teams, as the Broncos didn't really have a lot of convincing wins, as they were all really close games, no matter who it was against. And for the Packers, they were sort of heating up at this point in the season, looking like they deserved to be the favorites in this game. The Broncos would start with the ball, but spoil their drive with an RJ Harvey fumble that the Packers turned into a field goal. And the Broncos would punt on the next drive. And in the first half, it was kind of slow. It was 3-0 after the end of the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, the Packers had a 10-play, 89-yard drive that resulted in a field goal from the Denver 8-yard line. They decided not to go for it on 4th and 6 early, but they would go for it on 4th down many times later in this game. Then Green Bay, then each team scored a touchdown over the next three drives. So the Broncos had Bandy get into the end zone, and then Josh Jacobs, the big power back, makes a sick catch in the end zone for a touchdown, and then little Jordan Humphrey for the Broncos.
Little Jordan
Yeah,
Humphrey.
little Jordan, he got in there. Giants should have never let him go. Um, and Green Bay kicks another field goal before the end of half. So it's 16-14, and Green Bay gets the ball to start, and things are looking good for them. And they have a nice drive where Jacobs breaks off a 40-yard touchdown, and it's 23-14. Denver goes 3-and-out, and now, early in the third quarter, they have a chance to go up 17 points if they go for two. So on the first play of that drive, it's play action, and Jordan Love heaves the ball deep to Christian Watson, who's guarded by Surtain, who is on it and gets the interception and runs
Uh-huh.
it back to the Denver 29 as Christian Watson rolls around on the ground in pain as he landed on his elbow and looked like he really tore
Shot
up
something in
maybe
his
his
shoulder.
collarbone, his AC joint. It did not look good. And Dan, you've mentioned it many times with Christian Watson and his health.
I have.
Yeah, and
And the moment I saw him and he got one down like that, I just thought to myself, like, it's all over again.
yeah,
It's
yeah, I mean, it really was such a shame to see because he was such a huge addition coming back. I mean, usually looked pretty good when he was playing. We knew he had injury concerns, but this year really did look like was maybe one of his
It looked
best
like he was gonna
seasons.
figure it out, bro. He did the whole One Piece. He literally hit the room and then the shambles, bro. He was saucing it for a minute with the celebrations. I was getting excited, and then nah, man. When I saw him land like that, I just thought to myself, I was like, damn, not the shoulder, bro. Like
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
class. Like he jacked up something in there that it's like when
yeah.
you know you're laying there, you're just holding yourself. You're thinking to yourself, like, bro, it's not gonna come back.
It
I'm
was
not
hard to
making this
tell at
one.
first, but you can see on the replay he lands
Elbow.
directly on his elbow, and that pinches up on that shoulder, and it's
Yep.
typically going to result in a broken collarbone or a AC joint sprain, something in that area. So he's still being evaluated. But that looked like it really hurt the Packers' confidence. And everything after that just changed. The Broncos score a touchdown on a 15-yard fade to Cortland Sutton after that. The Packers punt, and Micah leaves after that drive with a non contact knee injury that turned out to be a torn ACL. So it gets even worse.
I saw a crazy
following.
meme about that, Scotty. I can't even lie. I did. I saw a crazy meme that it was like, bro, Micah Parsons can't be original. And it was how Christian Watson, like, when he got hurt, right after Christian Watson got hurt, it was kind of funny because they were like, Micah Parsons can't be original. And then he got his ACL injury or something. And I was just in my mind, like, that is crazy work to be saying that off rip. Like,
Yeah, I've noticed it quite a bit how people hop on people or hop on players after they have injuries, and I'm like, man, that is just some people are just ferocious, But what are you gonna do?
ferocious.
This is the world we live in, I'm not condoning, making fun of players after injuries, but it really is just part of the way the world is. It's there is no line that cannot be crossed, for some people. So
Besides Carson Wentz apparently in 2017. But hey, listen, everybody.
I mean, I wouldn't
every-
even say back then it was like, uncommon. I mean, Dak snapped his ankle, and I remembered people roasting him. But let's redirect the conversation from the tragedy of the Packers losing two guys in the course of 3 minutes, and
Mhm.
remember how the Broncos scored a touchdown on each of their next two drives. To Troy Franklin and R.J. Harvey, and the Packers only mustered a field goal across that stretch. 34-26, Denver leads. Green Bay is down 8 points with 7.5 minutes left to go, and they have a chance to tie it. So, 2 plays into their drive, Jordan Love throws it deep middle across the field, and it's kind of behind Dontavian Wicks, and it's tipped, and it's intercepted. And for the rest of the game, it pretty much just went back and forth, kind of going three and out and running the ball, and the Broncos did go for it late on fourth down, in Packers territory, instead of kicking a field goal, and did not get it. So the Packers had one more chance, but they couldn't get it done. And I thought Bo Nix was really, really impressive in this game. He was clutch once again, to stay ahead late in this game. It
For sure.
was like 2 minutes away from being a fourth quarter comeback because he scored the touchdown that took the lead late in the third, and he used his, obviously extending the plays, using his arms and his legs, and it was just something I feel like I remembered seeing last year and at certain points this season, where it's like he is pretty good, in the clutch and extending the play. And even with Micah out, it was impressive. For the Packers, it really seemed they just lost all their confidence after both those devastating injuries, and
Literally.
it feels like it's going to cripple them this season. So they're 9-4-1. They fall to the 7th seed as the Bears regain first place in the division. The Broncos clinch the playoffs and now have a 1-game lead on the 1 seed over the Patriots in the AFC. So Danny, why don't you tell me, with Parsons out for the year and Watson to miss significant time, are the Packers' Super Bowl dreams crushed this season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't even go and say that this team's gonna like find a way to win at this point. It's like you literally lost like your star player on offense and star player on defense. Like you lost your persuasion on
Yeah.
both sides of the ball, if I'm gonna be honest with you. And now we're gonna sit here like I'm sorry, that celebration has me like he had the right aura. You know what I'm saying? Like for those anime fans out there that are watching this joint right now, like you know what that celebration means. So it's like, and then Parsons, for example, right? Like, we said it yet last week that like the whole defense started to finally play like they should have been playing week one. And now they had the mojo, and now he's gone.
Hold on,
It's
pause.
like,
Can you got chat? Can you guys hear me now? If you type in the chat, I thought I fixed it. Um,
oh, they're saying
says
they can't hear you.
says my Discord is my correct microphone. My OBS should be my correct. Yeah, it's on my Yeti Nano. Um, we'll just we'll see. We'll see as we proceed.
It's like you literally. We back to it.
Yeah, get back to it. My bad. That's
You're
always
good.
confusing when you're playing it back to yourself and you hear yourself from 30 seconds ago talking. That always throws me off big time. But
No, you good. You
you were
good.
talking about how their dreams are crushed.
Yes, because to me, right? Like, and like I know normally, right? I know normally I go and mess on the Packers and say, like what's it called? Like Jerry found a way to win, getting rid of Mike, all that stuff. But like the Packers defense was starting to figure it out. They started finally catching the mojo, and they were playing like you and I said in the last episode that they're finally playing up to par to what we expected them to play
Right.
since the beginning of the season. And now imagine you have that now, and the person that you got to start that going is now done for the rest of the season. It's like mentally, right? They have this next game that they're playing, what I see as like, do we still have it? If they lose it, like I expect them to be one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, it's that next game after those injuries that you can kind of prove to yourself and the rest of the team that it hurts to lose those guys, but you're still the team you believe you are. But Watson and Parsons, the reality is they were a big reason for this team starting to heat up at this point in the season. And I really thought they were going to be something that could, win them some playoff games. A couple, two or three big plays from each of them on their respective side of the ball would go a long way to, fixing what was wrong with this Packers team.
What I wonder now, right now that Watson's gone, do we start activating Golden like we should have
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season? Do we start making him run those wide receiver one routes? Because Watson, I haven't seen, right, and maybe I'm not seeing it right, but I haven't seen Golden line up doing like in the routes that they put Watson in, and I don't know if it's because of just the build difference, or just their like technical skills or whatever the case is, but um, it's like you drafted Golden round one for a reason, the first round for a reason. It's like, why are we not taking chances, I guess, with him is my thing. Because you throw the ball to Watson to make contested catches, but I don't really see that often with Golden in the Packers games that I've been watching.
Yeah. And one thing I will say before I get to Golden is Jaden Reed was a presence in this
He was.
game, 5 for 55. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty fast. So having him back in the slot should be good, kind of bumping out Romeo Dobbs to like that permanent, like kind of X role and rotating wicks in with them in there. But Watson, yeah, he's kind of like that. Should be your alpha wide receiver, but it feels like they do kind of use him like everywhere. Your schemed up guy. We want to get this guy the ball. Feels like Golden should be that guy too with the speed he has, and he's also got the ability to get open, more so a separation instead of being a big body. Even though Watson's fast too, but Golden was 3 for 55 in this game. He was used actually on the outside a little bit, and he definitely had an impact. He was tied as the team's leading wide receiver. It was really Jacobs though on the offensive side, in his 40-yard
I
rushing
agree.
touchdown that really makes this Packers offense go. So they do sort of have their foundation, but trusting, rolling into the playoffs, at least on the offensive side with these Packers wide receivers, just this like ragtag group where you don't know who the one is. And then the defense, without Parsons, you traded Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt's been in and out and a lot of the other defensive linemen. So it just has me worried about the ceiling for this team that could get them over a Rams team, maybe a Seahawks team on their best day. Even the Eagles, they couldn't beat them when they had these two guys. So it seems like the Super Bowl dreams for the Packers are
Went right
crushed.
out the window.
So Dan, let's move on and talk about the game that you watched so tentatively, and that is the Rams and the Lions game that resulted in a score of 41-34. So what were your takeaways from this game?
My takeaways from this game was as follows. Okay. One, Devontae Adams, Puka are being used at 100%, 25-8. You know what that does? You're going to burn these dudes out before you even get to the second round of the playoffs. You know what's crazy on the screen? It just showed up right now. Notable injuries, Devontae Adams with a hamstring. It's because this dude's running at 100 horsepower 100% of the time. And this is what I mean, guys. I feel like ever since the Rams got two basically number one receivers, they are full throttling this offense, which is like, yo, you're hitting towards the end of the line, right? And I understand you're playing the Lions, and I understand that what's it called? Like this is a statement game. Like you want to make sure you're ready for the playoffs. Brian Branch, what's it called? Yeah, Branch and Kirby Joseph were out this game. I feel like there were a lot of, for example, Colby Parkinson was used a lot this game.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like they
I don't,
used a lot of other pieces besides Adams and Puka.
100% yes, but that's where I guess for me those injuries that they've had, it's like you're using these guys to as like you're like yo, all eyes on him. Everybody needs to focus on these two shiny weapons right here. You know what I mean? Allowing Kyron to blow up, Corum to blow up, Parkinson to blow up. Like, and first of all, I don't know if you saw in the game, there was an actual catch that Parkinson had. It was about a 26-yard pass to the end zone, right on the
And it
corner
looked short,
at the
right?
front pylon. That looked short, did it not?
Yeah.
And Scotty, I'm gonna ask, right?
Hmm.
When has there ever been the rule that, as you catch it and you don't have full possession of it
Hmm.
as you're going to the ground, and then he gained full possession when he got into the end zone? But Scotty, by the time he got full possession, his shoulder was on the out. His shoulder was on, what's it called, the sideline in the end zone.
Yeah, so you're saying his shoulder was out of bounds by the time he
So
got
his shoulder was out
possession.
of bounds.
Yeah,
So I'm in
so
my mind.
so it's on the refs to make the judgment call if when he gained possession was before he went out of bounds. But I was saying that to my friends because I was like, hey, it looks like he's short. I don't know if and when he caught it, I can't see because his other arm was like in the way, and maybe the other guy's leg or something. It was tough to see. I didn't get quite the view of where his shoulder was by the time he gained full possession. I never got that full view, so I really can't say for sure. But it definitely looked short. But the rule is that until you gain full possession, you haven't caught it yet. So you're
Exactly.
not touched down anywhere. You're not say he's bobbling it until he gets into the end zone, then he catches it. Then yeah, that's a touchdown. But yeah, it looked like a very short. It looked like
Either
it
he
was
was
about a
short
yard
or he
short
was
at
out of
least.
bounds.
By the time he first touched the ball, he was like a yard short. And
I
then and
agree.
then it looked like he kind of went into the end zone. So I was like, oh, was he like bobbling it? And you can never really tell. So it was a really weird play. But they
And I
also
feel like as a ref to just give it to them, right? And because this game was one touchdown short. For like it was like if they didn't have that, it'd be overtime right now. So it's like every play is crucial, and I feel like that play itself was way too hard to overturn, to
yeah.
go, or what's like, yeah, to overturn and be like, oh yeah, that's a touchdown. It's like,
Well, it was originally called a touchdown. I think
oh, my fault, my fault,
that
my
was the
fault, my fault.
that was the problem. Is it was
That's
like they couldn't prove that like he had possession at one point before he was in the end zone. So they were like, I guess that's a touchdown. Like that was
yeah,
like
exactly,
like I can't really like say it wasn't. So it was definitely weird for sure. Yeah,
for
I
sure.
agree with that.
So
But
I feel like, but hey, they gave it to them. Another thing that I noticed, Goff was completely poised in this game, even though he was getting blitzed a lot. That is one thing I noticed is one, when Jared Goff is outside, I said it to you, Scotty, he's absolute freaking dog water. I'm sorry.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and he feels chilly, he gonna be ice cold all night. And when you start blitzing him and he gets flustered, he starts to, like, I guess you could say, make some errors. But being in that like closed environment up in SoFi, like, he was able to hit Amon Ra for so many
yeah,
like on the money deep balls like this game, and it was amazing. JMO being active, everybody on
yeah.
the team, I feel like it was extremely active. But one thing the Rams went for, which is a really big key factor, is shutting down Jameer Gibbs. Montgomery was going off. Montgomery was making, what's it called, 5 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. He was getting like really big, heavy runs. But like the what's it called? An analyst said it before the game started that they're 8-0 when Gibbs gets a touchdown, and they're 0-5 when he doesn't.
Right.
So it's almost like McVay took that and was like, I
Bet.
don't care who touches the ball, he's not getting the rock. And
Right.
we're making sure he gets shut down. And they shut him down, low key. Like, he was only able to go and get, what was it, 18 yards rushing today?
The
No, 38 yards rushing, my fault. 38 rushing and 50 and 20 receiving.
Monty was much more efficient.
I agree.
7 for 32.
And you would think for some, like, at least one year backs being more efficient, you could see that it doesn't really matter. I guess in this case where Gibbs only got 58 yards today, both in the air and on the ground. So my true big takeaway is the Rams are pretty complete, but they are one injury away from not really going far, which is what's crazy because I feel like a lot of teams are like that. There's no,
I was gonna say, I feel like you could say that about a lot of teams. So
yeah, you can say that about a lot of teams 100%. But I feel like even though out of all teams, I would say that if they started obtaining injuries, like, how do I say, like if the Eagles, right? And I say this, of course, with like a grain of salt. For example, like the Eagles losing Lane Johnson, we were able to still like adapt and adjust and all that stuff. And we'll get into the Eagles game later. Of course, I'll give my deeper take about that. But for the Rams, in this case, I feel like they were able to like adjust with any of the weapons that they had that were going on. When either Puka when he was hurt, when Devontae got hurt for a little bit, and they had to adjust things. Stafford, I think, was a really good piece to be able to make the offense still fluid and like function properly, like they should have. And also giving that the Rams defense is literally letting up way too many points. I feel like per game. It's like the Rams defense. I'm scared that they will be the reason that they can't go far
I was a little
because
surprised in this
it's
game.
almost similar to how I know we always say with the Cowboys, for example, how Dak will put up a monstrous, however many, like 30-point game, but then they'll lose by 38.
Yeah,
And it's because you're banking that your defense can make the necessary stops.
and I feel like they haven't been like really an issue, but at least in this game, it was like obvious that they had no answer with their corners for Jamison Williams, Amon Ra. As their defense is selling out to stop Gibbs, it's like you can't, you're leaving these guys one on one with not much help elsewhere, and maybe even running man. And Amon Ra is able to catch and run. JMO gets open deep for the touchdown. Like, I do feel like the weakness of the Rams is similar to the Packers, where it's like it's the corners. And that's a lot of teams, right? Like corners such a hard
Uh-huh.
position. Um, but they really have. It was what had cost them in the Eagles game. Um, and then they lost to the 49ers, and they couldn't really keep up with Juwan Jennings, I think it was in that game.
Yep.
So yeah, that is their flaw. But I mean, I would just say, having 70 plus yards from five different offensive players would tell me that they're doing. I mean, against at least this Lions team, they're doing whatever they want. They're taking what's there. Parkinson's definitely not the primary read. I would imagine he ends up 575 and two touchdowns. Like
Yep.
Corum and Kyron both had 70 rushing yards. Like that's the biggest thing for me. They ran the ball better than the Lions did.
Yeah. I'm not, yeah, it's true.
And that's why they
That is
won
true.
because they had 160 combined rushing yards. So it was
But
overall,
also, I feel like the presence of the Lions defense today was just not there. Like I remember seeing one of them when they rolled out, and what was it? What's it called? Quorum ran to the outside to the sideline and basically just took it up. And it was like, yo, there's so much space
yeah,
for that man to run. I'm talking about like that, and the left tackle didn't even look like he crashed that hard. It was that the linebacker went and made the wrong read and was in the wrong gap.
yeah, and
So
so he was too far inside,
so that
and
he was
yeah,
too far, he couldn't get the angle, and he was gone.
right, yeah, and the Lions defense, this is now the second year in a row where it seems like they suffered like a dozen injuries, and Aiden
And
Hutchinson's
now
still
it's
out
starting to be
there.
experience.
Aiden Hutchinson had a really nice interception in this game, but
I
it's like
agree.
it's not enough to just get like 3 to 5 big plays on defense and then let up for the whole rest of the game. Like, and I guess this kind of leads into my question: is the line are the Lions going to miss the playoffs? Because currently they're not in it. They're 8 and
Yep.
6. They're a game and a half behind the Packers, who sit at 9-4-1, and the Packers just suffered all these devastating injuries. So, like, what is your take on, the because right now the Bears hold first place, like I
Yep.
said, at 10-4. So, do you think the Lions are going to be able to take away that playoff spot from the Packers, or do you think maybe the 49ers, who are 10-4, or the Seahawks, who are 11-3? Do you think
Sky,
they're going to fall out?
I'll rephrase the question more like,
Mm-hmm.
do I think the Lions are gonna take it, or are the Packers gonna give it to the Lions because they can't keep up losing two key parts to an offensive piece and a defensive piece. That because if I'm correct, right, the Packers play the Bears again
Yeah,
later in the season, and you know damn well they're coming for some money
next week.
for them. Yeah, so coming up for the Packers, they got some pretty big games if I remember correctly when you discussed it with me about what their schedule is going to
I
be looking
got
like.
you. Chicago, Baltimore, Minnesota. So
And
two tougher games, but I would say in descending order of difficulty.
I agree because the Vikings they should go and win that one
Yeah, but the
100%.
Ravens, I don't
But the
know. The
Ravens
Bears,
with the how, you know what I mean,
The
and it's
Bears
in
were a throwaway.
Chicago.
Yeah, and it's at, you're right. It's at Chicago. So yeah, you're thinking that they're gonna give it away to the Lions.
Yo, there's a chance.
There's a
I'll be the
chance.
first to make that crazy bold take. But I think the Lions, even though they lost today, the Lions coming up in their schedule is going to be what's it called? The Steelers, the Vikings, and then the Bears at the end at Chicago. So this Pittsburgh game, assuming everything goes well, I will go and give that probably more to the Lions. Definitely for sure. This game. The Vikings at Minnesota, I don't know what it is, okay? It is a 50-50 ball when the Lions play at Minnesota.
Yeah, for some
And that's
reason
for some reason.
they should definitely win, but there's
They
like
need they literally cannot lose that game.
yeah, they can't lose that one.
They lose that game, my whole take is gone.
If the Packers can't lose that one, then neither can the Lions. They both get a win. So there's two
So
games left.
basically they go
They
what's it
both
called?
play Chicago.
And then they both play Chicago. And right now I will go and have more faith in the Lions playing Chicago the way they are rather than
The
the
Packers,
Packers
yeah.
in this new state against the Bears.
Yeah, the Lions spanked them the first time around 52-21. And the Packers barely beat them when they were pretty much fully healthy and
Exactly.
roaring, and now they're crippled compared to what they were before. So I'm not gonna. For me, I guess I have to answer the question now because I wrote it down
Exactly.
and I didn't give an answer yet. Uh, yeah, I actually kind of feel sort of worried, but the thing is the Lions have to get two games, on this Packers team. They gotta get one win ahead so that they're a game behind. So they pretty much need the Packers to lose both against the Ravens and against the Bears, and then the Lions need to sweep. So I think the Lions can sweep Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Chicago. Are the Packers going to lose to both the Ravens and the Bears? I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like
But
they
I could
won't.
see it
I
with
feel like they.
especially with how I feel like the Ravens picked up
Yeah,
the
I know,
pace with the
but I
Bengals.
feel like the Ravens and the Packers are like in the same spot. Not the same exact spot, but the Ravens are like they're getting hot, but like they beat the Bengals, and like 2 weeks before that they had 5 turnovers and lost to that team. With the Packers, yeah, they're crippled now. They should be worse
But I
now.
will say the Packers taking those two L's put them exactly where the Ravens are now.
What do you mean?
What do I mean by that is for example, right? Like I feel like the Ravens' confidence and play style is not as poised and confident that like it's been for years. For example, like they haven't really found like the mojo. And guess what? Today started with like Derrick Henry finally getting big runs against them. But guess what also happened? Like the Bengals defense was also all over Lamar today. Like so it's like we always talk about how horrible this Bengals defense is, and they were able to turn up for a little bit there to like stop Lamar. It's just that Joe Burrow could not get anything started today to get this offense rolling in a scoring position. I understand T. Higgins was hurt, but I would think Jamar Chase could also do it with himself. You know what I
The
mean?
Bengals seemingly have just given up.
Exactly. It almost seems like that, right? So it's like for a team that's given up, and you would not think that they would have been as effective in stopping Lamar for how long they did. And like the Ravens would have to find their mojo to really get started with scoring. Because in the beginning, the game was a little slow.
It was slow, and Henry wasn't going early on. I felt like he started going in the second half because
In
like
the second
Lamar
half,
Lamar
exactly.
had a
Yeah.
couple passing touchdowns. I forget who the first guy was, but it wasn't someone I normally recognize. It looked like a running back, but I don't think it was Keaton Mitchell. And then they had
No,
one
it
to
was.
Zay, and then uh, they obviously they were ahead of the whole time because the
I know it
Bengals got
began with
shut
an
out.
A. I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
It was like Ali. It was
yeah.
something like
It
that.
was it was a it was a it was a lower string guy for sure. But I don't know. I don't know that the Packers get swept by, that bunch right there of Bears Ravens. I don't think I would bet on it to happen. I think they're both going to beat the Vikings. So I'm going to say that the Lions are going to miss the playoffs because I don't really foresee the 49ers or Seahawks slipping out either. So I would assume outside of the Buccaneers and Panthers fighting for first place in the NFC South that we pretty much have our playoff teams at the very least locked up in the NFC side. So that's my answer. And I guess now we should move on to our third biggest game of the week, and that is Bills Patriots. This was a game that there was a lot riding on. Dan, did you also pick the Bills with me to win this game?
I did.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I
And
did.
it was a pretty insane game. Early on, it looked like the Patriots were just going to completely dominate this Bills team. And to be honest, that's what was happening. Travion Henderson and Drake May
Oh
early
my
on
gosh.
with their legs were just completely
Churning.
tearing up. They were tearing up the Bills run defense. So they go up 21-0 into the second quarter, and then the Bills finally score a touchdown in response with James Cook, and then the Patriots get a field goal to finish off the half. So it's 24-7, and you're thinking, wow, this Patriots team is just saucing. I was, so wrong. This is not even close. But then the Bills start coming back. They get the ball to start. They score. The Patriots go 3 and out, and then they score again. 2 long drives, and then there was an interception thrown by Drake May. And this is when it really turned because, the Bills had pulled within, 3 points after being down 21-0 over the course of what was really like 15 minutes of the game. It wasn't even like it took an entire half. I mean, the Patriots 3 and out and the interception allowed the Bills to score 3 straight touchdowns in the second half. And I thought that was very glaring for a Mike Vrabel defense. And in fact, it was 4 touchdowns. They went all the way from 21-0 to 35-31 because the Patriots did get a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Yep. And it was actually looking like the Patriots were going to have a chance to come back because with less than 5 minutes remaining, I think it was actually, it was like around 5 minutes left. The Bills had to punt because they went 3 and out. The Patriots had the ball with time, and you're like, man, this Bills defense hasn't been able to stop anyone. But they get the 4th down. Drake May extends the play, makes the throw, but is incomplete. And that's how the game pretty much ended. The Bills ran it out. And they end the game 35-31. I don't think Drake May was bad or a reason that they that they lost, but at the same time, he had 155 passing yards in an interception, 14 of 23 against this Bills defense that really hasn't done much, and he had the help on the ground.
Diggs was not as active today as I thought he would be.
No, he wasn't. But Drake May, 4 for 43 on the ground with 2 rushing touchdowns. That was working. So in the red zone, he was, helping them punch it in, and he was extending plays and, getting some big gains like that. But Travion Henderson on the ground was unbelievable today. 14 for 148.
I switched him out last second.
You switched him in. Yeah, he was on he's riding my bench on one of my leagues. So RIP to that league. I'm not in the playoffs, but it's just sad to see. And Ramondre also had 6 for 50 on the ground, almost 10 yards per carry. So he had all the help he needed on the ground game. And I understand a lot of those were in big chunk plays. It wasn't like they were getting like 9 yards per carry. But I'm just really concerned how you go from scoring 24 points and a half to getting shut out in the third quarter and letting a guy like Josh Allen come back in this game as this Patriots team has 0 fourth quarter comebacks, 0 game winning drives this season. As soon as the Bills came back and took the lead, They had all the momentum. They scored 28 straight in the fourth quarter, so or in the second half, and I don't know. It just makes me feel like this team really hasn't impressed me too much across their schedule. I mean, Drake May has been really, really consistent for them, but I want to see, more matchups like this where, he's challenged to throw the ball because it seems his legs are always going to be a good weapon for him, but it seems that at least perhaps passing, maybe the Bills figured out something. And honestly, I'll give them credit. I don't think the Patriots wide receivers and tight ends are that great. I'll give them that. I really don't. But
Literally, it's just Diggs. And I know Booty had an amazing catch today. What's it called? What's it called? Reaching out, and then when he pulled it back in, but before him. But I think they went to challenge that, or the Patriots got ahead of it because they ended up finding out that that ball was actually incomplete. But the Patriots are actually able to get back to the line of scrimmage, run a play
yeah,
before they could see the review and stuff like that. So it's like
if you,
the,
I'm
these
not,
dudes make it happen.
yeah. I mean, it's that's always the thing that you feel two different ways about depending on which side you're on. But
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Dan, like after this game, are you buying or selling the Bills as contenders? And what about the Patriots?
Patriots, yes. Why?
You're buying
Because
or selling them?
I'll buy them.
You're buying them as contenders still?
I still buy them as contenders because you and I like have discussed it beforehand in the past about when it comes to the wins and losses, you really need to have your losses to figure out what you're bad at before the playoffs, and you rather have it before it's too late.
Hmm.
And in reality, I think the way they lost is not so dramatic that it's too late. I think that the way they lost is perfectly timed with what they need to fix before the playoffs come. And that being the case, I would say that the what's it called, the Patriots really have like very minimal things to fix, almost like the Rams. I would say in the NFC, um, it's just I would say like the type of caliber players that they have would be would allow this team to like soar like miles above than what they are right now, personally. But there's also the nuance of hey, they have what they have and they're doing what they're doing with it. So now it's scheme. I believe in Vrabel to be able to go and get himself into the position where his defense doesn't let up 35 points in a game. You know what I mean? So there's also that aspect to it because it is Josh Allen. You're most likely going to see him in the playoffs again,
Yeah.
possibly when it comes down to it. So they were able to do it once and get him and be able to come out and beat him the one time. So if the Patriots would have won this game, I'd be shitting bricks a little bit going into the playoffs because one thing that's really hard is beating a team three times in a row, and you don't often really get to do that often. So that would have been pretty skeptical. But that being the case, I'd say I buy into them, but I also buy in to the Bills like semi now going into this because they were able to
Semi,
overcome the hump.
as in not
And
the
the reason why,
same amount as the Patriots?
I would say the reason why I say semi right is because one like how there's not a lot of times I feel like I see Josh Allen like in the playoffs be like behind and then come through with it. It's like when he's behind, he's been behind, and if he's ahead, he's ahead. Like for example, like when the Bills were behind against the Ravens, they scored and they gave the ball to Lamar. That wasn't like Josh Allen came and made the game-winning drive. No, it was like Mark Andrews dropped the ball.
Yeah, no, in the Ravens game last year, he had like 100 something passing yards. Like it was more so just kind of the way they were running the offense. And
Yeah.
the other non-Chiefs one they lost was to the Bengals, and they did not come back in the snow. In that one, it was like 27-13 or something. And then the
Yep.
four Chiefs games, I'd say that two of them were kind of washes, blowouts, and then two of them were actually close. Uh, Last year was pretty close, but he didn't come through. You're right. And then, but then I think it was 3 years ago. Come on, we got to give him credit for that. 13 seconds he left.
I'll give him no 100%.
Yeah,
I give him 100% credit for that. You know what I mean? If it, but also too, it's very mind-boggling that every year that Josh Allen gets like screwed, quote unquote, a new rule gets made into the league. That what happened after that year? We started the overtime rule that both teams get to
That's for
have
the
the chance.
better. That's definitely for the better.
I agree 100%. But then all of a sudden he runs the QB sneak that Jalen Hurts has been running for so long. And Scotty, what do we have now? Electric measurement. Like, what the actual heck? And you know what's
Well,
crazy? Scott, when was the last time you saw that? I haven't seen an electrical measurement at all lately.
no, I haven't seen it either, but that was definitely a first down. They definitely botched that call. But
I agree.
it's happened to a lot of teams before, and usually the dynasties, as we call them, are the teams that get away with those the most, or benefit from them the most. But I don't know. I feel like why have why buy Patriots stock and semi buy Bills stock if we've at least seen it once from the Bills, where it should have been good enough from Allen. And the team's obviously competitive in the playoffs. When we don't know what it is at the Patriots, and with the defense letting up 35, I would point to the quarterbacks that they've played recently. This is a massive difference. You go from playing Josh Allen to the weeks prior. You got Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart, and then you got no Joe Burrow, Cincinnati. So it's like Jake Browning or Joe Flacco, actually. Excuse me. The Jets, Baker and the Buccaneers, but Baker's hurt this year. They don't have weapons. Penix / Cousins, Shador / Gabriel, Cam Ward on the like. It's like I've been saying this, and I just feel like this makes so much sense. I'm like, I'm not hating on Drake May, but just this team overall, like, I feel like they
You
have.
think they're going to be frauded and caught lacking in the playoffs?
I think we just saw a playoff game from them, and they went up 21 points, and then they lost that, and that's pretty concerning. From the coaching staff, the players, it's they're doing what they can to be in position. It's a very young team, but I'm surprised by Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels choking that away. It's very out of character for them. But
It is very out of
I'm
character.
buying the Bills and Patriots still. I still believe in Drake May. I still believe in this coaching staff, and I think you're right that they needed a loss like this around this time to kind of humble themselves and come in with a bit more of a pissed off, wanting to prove something attitude in the playoffs. And I think this is actually almost a good thing that this happened. I think if they swept the Bills and they were overly confident, it would have been worse for them if they ran into like a Broncos team that they haven't played. But I think the Broncos are better. I still think they are. So that's
Oh yeah, now the Broncos beating the Packers like that, I'm not gonna
yeah.
because I don't listen. Before even the injuries, I'm telling you right now, it was like they were neck and neck the entire time. So
Right.
it's like because of those injuries and everything, like it's like no, I'm not gonna negate just because they got those injuries.
Mhm.
Oh, that's why they won. It's like no, they were there to ball and they balled hard.
And
Like
Bo Nix is pretty good. Like he's may not be what Drake May might be someday, but he was good last year and he's good this year and he plays well when it counts. And he's got now on the season, at least on his career, he's got 10 game-winning drives on his career, and 7 of them are this season. And like I said, it was almost a fourth quarter comeback. So I'm still kind of buying those 3 teams in the AFC. I still kind of want to buy the Texans, but we'll talk about that later. And then as for the Bills, we'll you know we'll just have to see if this defense, it looked like it was going to cost them in this game. It didn't. It's just going to be a roll of the dice every week to see what happens there. So those are the 3 primary games for more of like the in-depth analysis of those games. But I think now we're going to break into a bit more of the segmented ideas over the last 15 minutes. And that's going to start off with the Chiefs fall to 6-8. Joey's probably, if he's listening right now, he's probably glad hearing this right now. Chiefs fall to 6-8 following the loss to the Chargers and are eliminated from the playoffs. Mahomes exits the game late with a torn ACL. Right before this happened, the announcers were literally saying how the Chiefs might not know it right now, but they're basically eliminated because all the teams ahead of them won. And it really seemed this Chiefs team was never going to figure it out anyway. This was an embarrassing game for both teams, but to me, it seems the Chiefs' lack of
another ugly football game.
yeah, just another ugly game that they did not pull out this year that they did the year before, and it seems their lack of execution is a result of a decline of faith in the locker room of their cornerstone pieces like Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, which is like a cultural decline. I've heard Julian Lucas talk about this. He's an Eagles fan, and I thought it was a really good point. And now they're eliminated, and Mahomes is going to miss most of next offseason. Prior, Danny, the Chiefs have made 7 consecutive AFC championships, 4 Super Bowls, winning 3. Tom Brady's Patriots went 10 years between their 2005 and 2015 Super Bowls. Let me ask you, Dan, are we seeing the beginning of the end of KC's generational run? Is it already here? Or do you think they can make enough changes to return to contender mode next season?
They're gonna make changes. I don't think they're gonna just go and just be like, you know what, this team ain't it no more, and just throw them off to the wayside. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they signed Mahomes to a 10-year contract. There's a reason why they signed Chris Jones. There's a reason why they only gave Kelsey a 1 year, because this dude's gonna go retire and be part of an album cover somewhere else. Um, and this is where, for me, how I'm looking at it, that what I noticed from this game, which I feel like this is where I feel like the Chiefs are going to start heading, is actually acquire. They're going to want, I feel like Worthy needs to be a slot receiver. He can't be a number two. We got to make somebody else the outside. Juju Smith Schuster. They have so many older players, veteran type players, that like you're trusting Spags with experience and veterans to be able to make stuff happen.
It's like the
And there's no
Cars
more
movie.
dark magic anymore. So it's like
It's like the Cars
what-
movie when he's falling behind and like the new one is like speeding ahead and he's like, the
it's
future's
like
now.
speeding ahead of them and stuff like that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
had a nice
100%.
run, but you're cooked now.
So for me, like Rice is a great, I feel like he'd be a great number two if you can get a solid number one there. Because while Rice, yes, he's a good like receiver and he's got a lot of talent and he could do a lot. I just don't think it's supposed to be him and Worthy. Juju, I don't know why he's still here. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, he's starting to fall off dramatically. He like ever since the Ravens year, like his rookie year, I feel like I haven't seen much of him since then. And what's sad is because I feel like Zay Flowers is gonna be like Hollywood now. The moment that Zay Flowers gets somewhere sent
Well,
somewhere
if
else,
he
like
went to Kansas City, he'd be a hell of a lot better player, to be honest, is my thoughts.
I could see that. You know what I mean, but I
Ravens
just
don't throw the
genuinely,
ball. But yeah.
yeah. But as I was saying, like I need to see. I feel like the Kelsey's gonna get removed from it. Mahomes is gonna probably get more weapons. They definitely need a bit better running back. While listen, Pacheco, fire, love him, cool. He's not an every down back. He's not
No.
like the workhorse anymore. I feel like after the ankle injuries and he's been getting like banged up a little bit. Hard running like that, only you're gonna get expired at some point, brother. And you know what I mean. It hit sooner rather than later. I felt like we saw the same thing with Edwards Hilaire.
Yeah,
With the Chiefs,
he
they try
was
to run
worse
that.
though.
They try to. I don't know. They try to run that one running back constant system where it's like we're gonna keep you here and basically drill you until you're tired. And it was like they did with Jamal Charles. I feel like they did with Kareem Hunt, and then look where Hilaire and Pacheco are now, like completely exhausted. So they're gonna probably invest in another running back coming into the future. I'm hoping that Alvin Kamara decides to go there because that'd be kind of
Yeah,
fire.
but he's also like old, you know what I mean? Like I feel like they need like such an
A
injection of
young,
youth.
talented, like somebody young and talented on the offensive side of the ball.
They
Like
could have
they
traded
have,
for Brees Hall. They could have drafted a
they really could
back
have.
in this year's class. And they didn't do any of that.
Nope. So that's where I feel like they should start going with a quarterback like Mahomes, who still is there. I feel like he's still in a prime version of himself. He's still able to extend the plays, has a great arm, great talent. Like he's the number one guy in the league still. Like I'm never gonna hate on him for that.
Yeah.
Um, so that being the case, it's like invest in him properly, not with old veterans who've been experienced, like with talent that he could teach, that he could show things. He's been in the league long enough that I would believe he's capable of teaching, and Andy Reid to teach to like operate correctly and work together cohesively. So I think there's a partial breakup to answer your question to replace with younger, shinier, better pieces.
How many?
One starting at the tight because you have Noah Gray, and I think Noah Gray's a good freaking tight end personally. Like you backed up Kelsey, sure, but
He's
he
like a
was in a
Luke
lot of
Musgrave. He could
you know
fill
what I'm
in.
saying. He's been in a lot of key situations where I'm like, oh shoot, it's Kelsey. Oh wait, no, it's Noah Gray.
It's Noah
Why?
Gray.
Because that's who they'll rely on
Yeah.
at that time, and I think they can rely on him.
Yeah, I think you're really doing a you're on the right point with the weapons are super underwhelming. The defense is a similar sort of way where they are so dependent on Chris Jones, whereas when they don't have him, all the other players get worse. And we saw in the Super Bowl how bad their defense was without
Like
Chris Jones.
McDuffie is getting bodied by CD. He was getting bodied by AJ, and it was like
Well, and we saw the Chiefs versus the Eagles with Chris Jones and without him, and it was just even 3 years ago. It was wow, like they're actually, the Eagles were doing whatever they wanted, but it wasn't just like utter domination. And the Chiefs offense was able to figure it out. They had some banged up guys on the line, but just like I think this direction they went in with since they traded Tyreek. It felt like they took a million shots to try to replace Tyreek, and none of them worked. Mecole
they try to
Hardman,
do that with Worthy so bad.
but yeah, Mecole Hardman too. They did the same thing. They drafted
Rico Harmon,
some very
Sky
thin
Moore,
Sky Moore, like what's his name? There's been many guys. Jalen Royals this year.
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney they traded for. There's like two other guys that they also drafted that I'm trying so desperately to remember. I think it's Thornton this year. And then there was someone a few years ago, but the point being that this team does not have a lethal threat outside of Rashee Rice in the passing game and in the running game, and then on defense they just don't make.
It wasn't
big plays.
Josh Gordon, right? No, it wasn't Josh Gordon.
No. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was something Rice, but it wasn't Rashee. But anyway, yeah, I think we are seeing the end of this generational run because the Patriots, like I said, they're the closest example of something we have to this, and they were not even they were in two Super Bowls in between winning. In 2005 and 2015, they lost to the Giants, but other than those two Super Bowls, they didn't make it back, and they were out of it for a while. And I think we might see something similar with this Chiefs team where it takes them a while to figure it out. They're a great and productive team, but these things come to an end at some point. And 7 AFC championships in a row, we talk about the Eagles after having a long season last year. This Chiefs team has been to 7 AFC championships. A lot of these players that are still here have to just be over the culture
long
here.
Seasons.
They see Kelsey there's no chance he is as bought in as he once was.
That's what I'm saying.
Having a millionaire girlfriend, like you're definitely like going home. And this was some of the stuff Julian was saying. It's like you're going home. You're like, well, I don't care. I can go hide. I can go hide with my girlfriend.
Literally, you can literally leave right now, and it's not going to affect you for nothing.
When you're single or you're not dating a millionaire, maybe a little bit it helps a little bit if it's not quite as distracting. But when you have nowhere to hide, you have nothing to put your energy into except for that cause of us winning a championship, and it feels like that is not there, and that explains the lack of execution because the little things in practice that they aren't doing are adding up. So. I kind of agree. And let's move on to another just fun little tale. And that was Phillip Rivers taking on the Seattle Seahawks and actually almost winning. The Seahawks won 18-16. And in this game, it was very, very close until the very end. There were 4 field goals kicked, 3 of them by Seattle at the end of this game. So Phillip Rivers actually had them in, winning position, I think, at one point late. And he was all right. He was 18 for 27, 120 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And I just want to mention now, I just think it's good for him, right? Phillip Rivers coming back after I think it was like 1,800 days of not playing a snap. Isn't that just crazy? Isn't that just wild?
And he threw a touchdown.
And he threw a touchdown. How about that, right?
That shit is like, yo, Unk threw.
But I think what some people are just, what some people are coming away from this game thinking is just a little concern with the Seahawks, struggling this much against a guy who hasn't played eight, 1,800 days. I mean, he's a smart veteran guy who was apparently familiar with the offense before he got there. So it's like
And
it's
Shane
not the
Steichen too is like also like you don't think he's gonna prepare him to like Shane Steichen and Philip Rivers aren't gonna come together to cohesively be like, okay, this is what's gonna work, this is what's not. He's not gonna throw no 50-yard bomb. Like
I just
we
wouldn't
know that.
expect it with a like 45-year-old guy who hasn't played in like years.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of like I mean, the Seahawks defense still did their job. They held them to 18 points, but I don't know. I think it's just a little odd that Seattle didn't completely destroy them here. I feel like that's what we should know them for, and I don't think Sam Darnold was spectacular in this game. He did have 271 passing yards, but no passing touchdowns. I mean, they couldn't convert in the red zone in this game. They had no touchdowns. They kicked all field goals, one in each quarter, and then three in the last. They were 2 of 13 on third down against this Colts defense, 1 of 1 on fourth down. But yeah, I just thought that was something that was worth noting. I suppose we'll move on to the next game because this one I know you have a little personal beef with, and that's
And Scotty, I do gotta just add a quick update. Currently, nine has thrown for more passing yards than Dak Prescott in this game so far against the Cowboys. I'm just gonna say that right now.
wow.
So that's where we're at so far. I believe the score from what I checked beforehand was 21-14, I believe. I'm waiting for the thing to show up right now. But yeah, currently nine, I think, has more passing yards and no, 17-17 to score. My apologies. But I think a better completion percentage as well, if I saw the stats correctly. But hey, listen, it's nine.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
Good for
He's
him.
he's he doesn't deserve to be like just hated like so many people do. Uh, there's there's a difference between saying someone isn't good and just hating them, and some people just seem to hate nine so much. Uh, so if he starts figuring it out, good for him. And I guess screw the Cowboys, right? I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, so they want to tank anyway. But I want to move on to another game that I really don't have a lot to say on. The Bears destroyed the Browns today, 31 to
Yep.
3. Went pretty much as we expected. Caleb Williams, Swift, DJ Moore. Bears defense had 3 interceptions and 5 sacks, dominating Cleveland's offense. Shador struggled, 3 interceptions, only 177 passing yards, and it was just the Bears controlled this game pretty much the entire game. It was balanced on both sides. They had a 14-0 lead early in the first, and they just never looked back. So, Dan, a lot of Shador truthers came after you after your take on
Oh,
him versus Cam Ward.
uh-huh.
And I'm not saying like he didn't play all right in that game, but in this game he did not play well. Do you have anything to say to the Shador truthers out there who had so many mean things to say to you?
Okay, listen. Look, get over here real quick for me. Okay, get over here for me real quick. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me tell you this right here, right now. Cam Ward was starting to light up against the Niners. Okay, and let me get this facts here with this also as well. This dude, Shador, was running for his life, throwing deep balls basically 90% of the time in the game. And of course, I won't fully glaze, okay? He threw an absolute dot to Judy that got absolutely outmuscled by Johnson on the corner of the end zone. Yes, I get it. But also, pocket awareness is at a negative, okay? Scrambling and breakaway ability is nearly at a negative, okay? This dude needs more time. He needs more investment, and this is what I mean is that you're going to invest all this stuff into him, but a guy like Cam Ward who's played all year stays poised, stays together, and is able to actually put a scheme and a playbook together. He lost his head coach this year and was putting up points against the Niners. Like, this is what I'm getting at is that Shador is talented 100%. Like, first rounder, like, maybe, maybe. But are we really gonna hate the fact that you guys got him where you did? No,
No, it was a good pick.
no. It was a good pick. Congrats. But right now, right? If Dylan Gabriel did what he did right now, you would send him to the pits of hell and never send him back. But because Shador did it, oh, we need to give him more time. We need to invest more into him. Bro, come back to me when Shador could put up something together and actually comes out with the win. Scotty, you could take this from me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little more willing to give Shador credit for what he did do against the, worst team in the NFL, Titans. But you're right. Like, Cam Ward has been dealing with horrible situation, probably the worst in the whole league, easily, actually. And
Easily.
he's been doing well. And I understand Shador has only started playing, and say what you will. But I would probably argue that, he's responsible for where he is. He's an adult, and he made choices, and he acted a certain way in those interviews, and this coaches hated it. And
Because
this
if he
is
was
what we're seeing
respectful the
now.
entire time, completely bought in, just said, you know what? I'm in the NFL. Hallelujah. We're going to ball out. We're going to be respectful. We're going to get the playbook. We're going to do what we do. We're going to make them realize that I should have been a first round
Right,
guy.
and I think he's built it like over time to have like a good mindset and just kind of not say much to the media. I feel like I haven't heard much from him recently. Besides,
Recently now.
I got to play better and all this stuff. It's
But
put
now
up
I
or shut up
wonder,
now.
what's it going to look like when he wins?
Right, what's it gonna look like when he wins is a good point. Is he gonna stay humble? Is it gonna look stupid because you lose the next week because you're the Browns? Like, is this team gonna be able to build something around him, or is he gonna have to look to go somewhere else that could need to use him? I mocked him to the 49ers.
Yes.
When I did this, I thought that was a good mock because we see what Mac Jones looks like. I'm sure Shador could run that offense if you gave him enough time. So maybe he ends up there someday, but I don't know. Let's
Shador on the Raiders or the Saints would have been nice. I
Yeah.
think Shador on the Saints with like
Shuck is good though. Shuck is actually
Shuck
not
is
bad.
good. Shuck is good, 100%.
But
But I'd rather have Shador right now than Shuck for sure.
maybe.
But to close off that point, Scotty, this is my whole thing, right? It's like I'm not gonna go and sit here and be like, oh, like Shador needs to be canceled. No, guys, like I'm not a full
Absolutely not.
hater on Shador. I'm just trying to. I am like, in my opinion, like the realist when it comes to Shador, and it's like you put all of this precipice and
Pressure.
all of this stuff on people like Cam Ward, on Caleb Williams, on CJ Stroud, all of these like top players that when they first went to their team was dog water. I'm talking about like, and in my opinion, out of all those quarterbacks, I think Cam Ward has been put in the worst position because people like T Law at least got invested into that year getting his same running back. Then, of course, getting Christian Kirk, which we thought was gonna what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And then
It
all of a
looked good.
sudden he started being a baller. And then we get BTJ, and now you got Jacoby Myers,
Travis
and then
Hunter.
now, like you went to go get Engram, you beefed up the O line. They
Got
invested
the right
into him.
coach.
You know what I'm saying? Got the right coach, Doug Peterson, all that stuff. Caleb Williams. This dude's got the best offensive guru that we've seen. Built the whole team around him. I wish Justin Fields had that personally, but hey, this is where we are now. What's it called? CJ Stroud has got a team built around him. Number one defense in the league right now. And it's like you have Cam Ward and now you have Shador. And then we look at Shador and we're just like, it's like I'm not gonna make excuses for him either.
Yeah, I think it's like a psychological effect where the amount he fell was so drastic that they want to be convinced that he's even better than what people were saying he should have been, and it's putting too much pressure on him trying to compare him to Cam Ward. Just let Shador be Shador and figure out his own way, and people need to stop putting all these expectations on him. So it's time to close it out. All the rest of the games this week were blowouts. I'm going to read through them quickly, and then I'll have a question for you at the end, Dan. Ravens, Bengals. Ravens won 24-0. We sort of discussed it. Joe Burrow's very unhappy right now. Ravens survive another week. Jaguars 48-20 get the win over the Jets. Pretty unbelievable. Trevor Lawrence, best game of his career, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. First player in NFL history with 5 passing, 1 rushing, and 50 rushing yards. ETN had a big game. That was huge. Jaguars look really good, 3 seed in the AFC right now. Cardinals, Texans. Texans won 40-20. Stroud, Nico Collins were on fire today. They're also their tight end Jordan had a big day in his debut, and Dalton Schultz making a nice tight end duo. Houston's looking really good, like a potential top 5 team. Titans 49ers. We talked about Cam Ward kind of crawling his way back, but it was McCaffrey and Brock Purdy all day, and Juwan Jennings. Tony Pollard looking better and better over the recent weeks too. And then Panthers Saints. Saints actually got the upset here. That's the second upset they've gotten in the NFC South. So that loss for the Buccaneers to them means nothing. And they've really turned it on. I'm actually impressed by what Kellen Moore has done with this Saints team, and Tyler Shuck, and he's been impressive too. And I'm really happy for the Saints fans out there, because that's a tortured organization and they deserve it. But then last but not least, the blowout of 31-0, the Eagles over the Raiders. Hurts finally breaks, just kind of does what we would have thought would have happened early on this season. But he looked a lot better, obviously coming off a 5 turnover game where, 2 of them were kind of not really his fault, but nonetheless playing really poorly. Lane Johnson coming back makes a big difference.
Lane Johnson was not there playing today.
Oh, he was not playing today?
He was not. It was still Fred Johnson.
Oh, was he limited at all, or was he out?
He was fully out. He did not play at all.
Okay, my bad. So Lane Johnson was out, but I'll presume he'll be back next week. So that's even bigger for this Eagles offense that was struggling with this offensive line of theirs, and the coach, offensive coordinator, and the quarterback, and who's to blame and what's the issue here? Is it the play calling? Is it Hurts? No, in this game, everything was working. Dallas Goedert has been a weapon for this Eagles team in the red zone. He had 2 touchdowns, and then Saquon had a touchdown too. And then A.J. Brown, we saw him get hit deep. It was like everything we would expect to see for this Eagles team. So, Danny, I asked the question last week if this Eagles team was in full collapse, and whether they would get blown out in the playoffs or however that may look. Do you think they're still in any form of collapse after this win?
Like I said the last time, personally, no, I didn't think we were in a collapse back then. I didn't think we were in a collapse now. I just think we were playing extremely good teams while we were still figuring out who we were. And it's like hard to, I guess, find your identity when you have teams that are going to be in the playoffs, who are experienced, um, who have figured themselves out. You know what I mean? And that being the case, a game against a team like the Raiders, which I found to be interesting because, similarly, one thing that Hurts has been struggling with this year is going up against teams that run zone defenses. It was like a very low percentage, I believe, that he said that he's actually able to fit it between the zones and understanding what he needs to do and where he needs to be. And then today it kind of showed like he was able to pick it up faster. He was able to score and get the ball advanced and not really like lean or fall back too hard. And as you can see, when the offense gets moving, the defense is rested, well functional, and able to completely shut down an offense. And of course,
Yeah,
I understand it's Kenny Pickett and Genty, and the Raiders O line, which
pretty
is not that
terrible.
great. Yeah, pretty horrible. But they were even able to show it against teams where they had long offensive drives while the defense could rest, and we hold teams like the Packers and the Lions to
Right.
like what less than 10 points, I believe, at the time. So it's like um I don't think it was the collapse. I think it was just finding the identity and getting the confidence back that we can do it, because once you take like a couple losses, I've noticed that the team itself likes to beat themselves up, hold themselves accountable, and until things start to work, you don't see now like AJ Brown looks like he was happy getting all of the receptions that he did, getting a score in the game, actually being a part of the offense rather than we run it, got it, and
Chuck
that's
it.
all it really is. And now that he's a part of it, he got his scoring, he got his celebration, he got his AAO, and everybody's happy. So you know what I mean. That's why I love Smitty, because Smitty's never been that guy. It seems where he's like you know what? If I get 3 catches a game, but it goes for like 70 yards, it's whatever. I'm chilling.
Yep.
And he doesn't really stress about it or care. So it's like, um, no, to answer your question, no, no collapse. Just needed to remember who we were. And I think this was the game to do it. And especially against the type of defense that Hurts has struggled with in the past. So I feel like it's going to give him a lot of confidence to play with. And now I'm curious how that'll go when the Commanders come to Philly.
Yeah, Commanders surprised me by beating the Giants this week. This is actually a game I forgot to mention. The Commanders beat the Giants by a score of 29-21. I'm trying to pull it up right now as we speak, but yeah, it was 29-21. The Commanders, they surged to 4 wins on the season, so they're now the number 8th pick, and the Giants still have the number 1 overall pick. But I thought the Commanders were better than I thought they'd be. You guys are going to play them twice, so we'll see what happens there. I really don't think you guys should lose either of those games, but that Bills game, Week 17, is going to be massive.
I'm going to be interested to
yeah.
see that one.
Yeah, so I
have it on my thumbnail, potential Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the Eagles after this week. I don't know if they're going to be a top 10 team for me this week, but they've definitely made their case. If anything, they'd be like 11 or an honorable mention. I just want to see it versus the Bills. I don't really care if you guys do this to the Commanders either. But yeah, I will say it definitely looks better. Convinces me a little bit that you guys aren't in a collapse, but frankly, you guys did get 1 win in 2023 in that stretch. I think it was against the Giants on like Thanksgiving or something like that. Or Christmas, maybe it was. But
it was a close win.
Yeah, it was like a close win. And then the second time around, like we ended up beating you guys. But yeah, ultimately, we're going to have to just wait and see until Week 17 to see if if that Eagles team can put up another performance like that. So that is going to close it out for the Week 15 reaction show. If you guys are watching the stream right now, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and support the video. And if you're watching it afterwards, once again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because that is a whole separate thing. And subscribe if you want to see more of the podcast each and every week. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And yeah, that's going to be all for this one, guys. And Dan, you want to take it away?
Yep, guys, appreciate you guys for showing up. Appreciate you guys for showing out. Right now, 2017, we got Cowboys winning up right now. It's all good. But, guys, we're going to keep it rocking. We're going to be back here again on Tuesday for the Top 10 Tuesday. So make sure you come out, you pop out, you shout, you show out.